welcome to the very first episode of the Flowscape podcast. I am your host, Sawyer Stinchfield. With me is my co-host, Chris Mason, or Peterson, as we like to call him around here. Mason and I met during our time playing at Colorado State University. Shout out to the ACHA, the ACHA, baby. But here's how this is going to work. Okay, you're going to show up 10 minutes before the ice is ready. You're going to go no Bucky, skates and a fucking hoodie. Okay, and we're just going to throw unnecessary sauce around this place and go top titty even when it's not open, because that's what a flow skate is about. We're just going to fucking let it rip. We're not going into any zone that's defensive. All offense, baby. Fucking no defense. Listen, we're first episode, we're small right now. Okay, we don't even have a producer. All right, I'm doing all the editing, so God knows how that's gonna go. Okay, but we have opinions and we know the game and we played the game, and we want to bring those to you, and we want to highlight some sides of the game that not too many people get to see. Interviews with college club players, because there's some fucking nasty college club players out there, and if you don't believe me, go to a ACHA national tournament when they come to your area, because they're always coming somewhere, and you will fucking see what I'm saying. The level of hockey at an ACHA national tournament, doesn't matter if it's D3, D2, D1, is fucking incredible. And I know a lot of minor leaguers. Mason knows a lot of minor leaguers. We know guys who have played at high levels. I spent time overseas. I'm going back to play in Israel. We're going to bring you some interviews and some stories and some players that don't necessarily or would not necessarily have a platform with these bigger podcasts, and we wouldn't necessarily have a platform, but now we do. So we're going to let it fly. We're going to let our guests who come on let it fly, and that's what it's about. So if you like the product, the whole spiel, man, like, subscribe. We're going to be on YouTube. You can watch everything. Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, give us the downloads. Obviously, give the Flowskate a follow on Instagram, suggestions, sponsors, all that good stuff. Email flowskatepodcast@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram. But we want to make our dreams a reality, so we can't do that without support. So any support we can get would be great. So before we jump into the NHL playoffs and division and conference winners, let's hear from Peterson himself, Chris Mason, down there in good old Disney World. Buddy, how's DeSantis World?
It's good. Starting to get hot, but everything is good down here.
What's the handicap at? What are we working with right now?
What do you mean? For golf?
What do you mean, what do I mean? Of course I mean for fucking golf.
It's at like an 8.
No, Mason, how are your legs working right now? That's what I fucking meant.
I mean, there are days that it seems like they don't.
Okay, what's the handicap at? What are we doing? What are we working with? What are we shooting?
It's around 18. It's been a few...
You went up, buddy.
I know, it's been a few months since I've played, so probably even a little higher than that, but I'm going to start getting out and practicing again pretty soon here.
Disney's just beating you down, or what?
Yeah, it does.
What are your shifts like over there at Disney? What's going on in Toy Story World?
It's like 8-hour days. You do...
So like everybody else's fucking day in this world.
Yeah, except we're out in the sun the whole time, pretty much. Like the ride I work at is just literally outside, so it's just hot all the time. And people are always upset about something, so that makes it even more fun.
Give me the most recent just absolute degenerate customer that was bitching. Just you got to see some fucking creatures going through Disney World.
Yeah, oh yeah. There was a lady who said that she was going to slap the glasses off the face of one of my coworkers, so that was pretty interesting.
Okay, go through that. Explain, because you texted the boys that in the group chat. Explain that situation. Because if people don't know, there's a very infamous. You can go to YouTube. Okay, it's actually incredible. There's a maybe actually hard for some people to watch. There's a very infamous YouTube video of a family fight at Disney World. This is insane. It's you have to look it up, and these people got arrested. Like they actually went. They did jail time. It was so bad. Like beating the shit out absolute shit out of each other, and they're like their own family. I mean, it's incredible. Mason knows exactly what I'm talking about. But explain the slap the glasses off the face situation.
So there was this lady who they thought that they had something like that lets you basically skip the line that we have, and they did not, in fact, have it because they misinterpreted what someone else had said previously that day. So when my coworker was telling me like what the situation was, I walked over there and kind of tried to help. And then this lady starts talking and she goes, "I will slap the fucking glasses off your face," to my coworker, who's this girl who's probably like 5'3". And then this other lady goes, "I'm not afraid to go to jail for my 8-year-old son." And I was just like, oh
Of course,
my.
of course. That's where it starts. Was he not tall
Yeah.
enough?
No, it was, they thought they had the thing that lets you skip the line, which they didn't,
They thought they were working with fast passes, and they were fucking pigeons.
pretty much.
We had to pigeon toss them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jesus. So okay, when you have a customer threaten physical violence with an employee, do they just get to stay in Disney, or what happens?
Depends on the situation. So like most of the time they'll get escorted out, and then you basically get like put on a blacklist, so you can't buy tickets in
It's a
the
no
future
fly.
and
You're
stuff.
on the no fly list for Disney World.
Yeah, yeah. Tinkerbell puts
Did
you
she
on
get
there.
Did she get escorted out? Did it escalate to that?
This one did not. Surprisingly, I thought it was going to, but it actually didn't.
De-
So
de-escalate?
it got resolved.
Does DeSantis teach you guys de-escalation tactics?
He has nothing to do with it. He's trying to de-escalate us.
Okay. All right. Wow.
But yeah, that was a wild situation, and that was like a week and a half ago.
Okay. When does the most crazy shit happen, on the weekends or during the week? I almost want to say like shit at Disney World goes down on like a Wednesday at fucking noon.
It's usually like during like holiday weeks. Like these past few weeks have been spring break,
Like
and then
weekdays though, when like people are like
Mhm.
trying to like get it in and then get home for the weekend.
Yeah, pretty much.
God,
And
fucking.
like this upcoming week is about to be insane because it's Easter. So
Okay,
that's
listen, all you fucking Disney World creatures out there, leave goddamn Mason alone at Disney World this weekend, okay? He just wants to fucking celebrate Easter and look at the Lord's sunshine, and he doesn't need you fucks giving him shit because you think you have fast passes for the Toy Story ride and you fucking don't. So, hear it here first. Leave the guy be. He's just trying to get the people that want to go to the front of the line to the front, and he's just trying to get the pussies to the back, okay? So just calm down out there, people. I got you, Mason. I got you.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean, good Lord, people. The way some people act in front of their kids is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. But then
Yep.
I'm sure I'm gonna fucking, when I have kids, I'll throw a buddy. I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff. I've seen kids get hit before, and we like immediately have to report it to people as soon as we see it.
God, jeez, that's crazy.
There was a lady in a scooter one time who like her kid was on one of those leashes, and her kid just decided to like sit down like on the ground and like not move, and she was like, "All right," and she just like started reversing her scooter and just dragging this kid on the ground by his leash.
I've seen similar shit. The kids with the leash thing is still a thing. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
My kids are going to have a fucking leash. I already know it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you saw what I saw, you would understand why.
Yeah, my kids are going to have to fucking leash. I already know it. Shit, the 14-year-olds I coach for select hockey, they fucking need leashes.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Oh, I know you need a leash when you were 14.
I still need a fucking leash, and I'll be 31 in 2 weeks. I need a goddamn leash. Are you kidding me? What are you talking about? I need a leash everywhere I go. I have to leash myself, for God's sakes.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be like one of those dogs that gets too hyper and like wants to walk itself, where it grabs its own leash and just starts pulling. That's what I got to do to myself to fucking get me out of certain situations. But fuck, all right. let's get into some NHL here. Listen, team's got like less than 10 games left. Season ends April 13th. 15 games slated that day. It's a fucking grind right now. But there's clearly some teams that are out ahead. There's clearly some teams that had hopes of making it that aren't going to make it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through my list of teams that I think are going to be in the playoffs. Okay, obviously there's some teams have already clinched. Okay, so minus those teams, but we'll still list those teams. B, who I think is going to win the divisions. C, who I think and who we think are going to win the conferences. And we're also going to throw in at the end here, Mason. I want to throw in like after you give your 8 for each conference that you think you're going to throw. I want to throw in a wild card. Like, when you think if there's going to be a team that is going to get in that's not in right now, who would that be? So I'll start with the East here. Obviously, fucking Boston is a goddamn wagon. That's. I get scared for Boston though, because it's like Tampa when they fucking choked to Columbus. It's that good of a team.
Yep.
Everybody all year that year with Tampa, I mean, myself included, was, what do we say when Boston traded for all those guys? We texted the group and it was like, just give them the cup. But I think we forget that it's not that fucking easy once you actually get to the playoffs. I mean,
you still got to grind it out.
You still got to grind it out, and that first series to me is always the toughest. But obviously, Boston, Toronto, Tampa, Carolina, New Jersey, and the Rangers. So all of those teams have clinched playoff spots for the East. So they are automatically in. What we're looking at now is the last two wild card spots, which right now the New York Islanders hold the first one with 87 points, 77 games played. The Florida Panthers with 85 points with 77 games played. So same amount of games played, 2 points behind for the Panthers for the first wild card spot. Now behind Florida, sitting right outside the wild card spot with 3 and 4 is Pittsburgh and Buffalo. Pittsburgh has 76 games played with 84 points, and Buffalo has 75 games played with 81 points. Buffalo is 2 wins away from being ahead of 2 wins away, and Pittsburgh losing 2 games of being ahead of Pittsburgh for fighting for that last wild card spot. I'm just going to say, for me, I think it stays the same. I think Florida gets in. Teams that get hot at playoff time, like around this time, they weren't in a spot. Now they're in a spot. I think they hold that spot. I don't see them dropping that spot, and Pittsburgh is playing like ass. If Pittsburgh did not have Crosby, and Mason hates Crosby, but if Pittsburgh did not have, Mason used to fucking put my Pittsburgh Penguins hat in the goddamn freezer when we were in college. That son of a bitch. I
keep him on ice.
I love Crosby, and I had a Penguins hat. I'm a Stars fan, but I had a Penguins hat, and we would fucking party, and I would wake up, or I would just leave my fucking Penguins hat somewhere, and it would just be gone. And every fucking time he would put it in the freezer. Who puts hats in the freezer? But anyways, I don't see them getting in. If they didn't have Crosby, they'd be fucked because they're playing like dog shit. And I don't see Buffalo doing it.
I do see them getting in.
You have Pittsburgh getting. Okay, we'll get to that. So I think
even with my dislike, I'm still gonna have to disagree with you.
That's fine. So my 1 through 8 for the East getting in is Boston, Toronto, Tampa, Carolina, New Jersey, Rangers, Islanders, and Florida. If anything, I think Buffalo jumps Pittsburgh and could possibly fight for that last spot, but I see it staying the same. So that's going to be my wild card. My wild card is going to be Buffalo. So Buffalo is my wild card. There's my 1 through 8 for the East. Let's go to the now divisions though. Boston's already got the Atlantic. I think I'm going to say New Jersey takes the Metropolitan. They're 1 point behind Carolina with one more game played. But I think Carolina's offense is going to slow down, which has been their biggest problem. So I'm going to say New Jersey wins the Metro. So Boston, the Atlantic, obviously. New Jersey wins the Metro. Those are my 1 through 8 for the East. Now, my 1 through 8 for the West. Minnesota, Colorado, Dallas. All three of those teams are getting in. Vegas is clinched. Edmonton is clinched. Los Angeles is getting in. Here's where it gets tricky. Seattle's going to get in. They're not. I don't see them with 7 games left dropping out. They have 75 games played, 90 points. I see them getting in with that first wild card. Here's where it gets tricky is the second wild card because Winnipeg is ass. They are not the same team they were when they started the season. And you could tell Bonus, listen, I'm a Stars diehard, okay? I love Bones. Bones did great things for us, but and he took over a team that had a really high expectations and I think any normal team when your coach gets fired mid-season when you're fucking hot, okay, and then a guy who's technically the oldest coach in the NHL who hasn't been a head coach in so long steps up, you're going to falter, and they did, but he got him into that bubble and they made a fucking run for it. So we know Bones is a good coach. I think at the beginning of that season for Winnipeg, he had them rejuvenated, but I just don't. They're on the downslide. If Calgary doesn't get in, do they fire Sutter?
Probably. With the amount of money they spent in the offseason, I would think so.
I mean, because it almost seems like when you hear interviews and shit, it almost seems like he wanted that trade. Like he didn't want Tkachuk anymore. Like that, like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like the things he said and the things Tkachuk has said, it's almost like, holy shit, like they did not get along. But is he getting along with Kadri? Is he getting along with Huberdeau? Is he getting along with Weegar? I mean, does he even like those guys? So it's
just a weird team.
It's a weird team, and they're 76 games played with 85 points. Winnipeg is the same games played with 87 points. So they're 1 win behind Winnipeg for that second wild card. But then you look at Nashville, who's 1 game less played with 84 points. And they're fucking hot right now. They just scored 6 goals the other night. I think this is how it's going to end up. I think it's going to be Minnesota, Colorado, Dallas, Vegas, Edmonton, Los Angeles, Seattle, and Calgary. I think Winnipeg's going to drop out. I think Calgary is going to feel the pressure. I think Calgary's a lot better as far as Canadian teams with pressure. That media is not as intense in Alberta and Calgary as it is in fucking Vancouver and fucking Edmonton and Toronto. I think they figure it out, and I think they take that second Western wildcard spot, and it saves Sutter's job for at least 1 more year. But my wild card is going to be Nashville, man. I got Winnipeg out, and I have Calgary in. But if it's not Calgary, it's going to be Nashville. So that's my prediction for the wild card there. I've got. Let me see these divisions here. As much as I fucking want to say Dallas is going to take the Central, it's hard because we held it all year and we just fucking gave it up. I mean, it's hard to hold. They were first all year, and I knew at the end some teams were going to. We knew Colorado was going to come back whenever they
got healthy.
We knew that was going to be the case. So 76, 75, 76. You know what? I fucking hate to say it just because I don't want fucking Scott and AJ to. I think Colorado's going to take the Central. I think Dallas is going to come in a close second with Minnesota. They'll probably be tied with points and games played. Dallas could take. I'm going to go Colorado. I'll give our boys over in Denver some due there. Fuck, that hurts to say. And they whooped our ass last night, 5-2. But who's counting? We broke the high score on them the game before that, though. We fucking put up an 8 spot. So, Yeah, I'll take Colorado in the Central, and I got Edmonton winning the Pacific. Fuck, Vegas are frauds. You heard it here first. Vegas are frauds. They are going to fold faster than our dealer Keith for Scott's 30th birthday. we ran that dealer off the table. Fucking Keith. I got Edmonton taking the Pacific. If anything, I have fucking Los Angeles catching up to Vegas. Fuck Vegas. I think they're frauds. And yeah, so there's my Central Pacific winners. There's my 8-8 for the playoffs with my wild cards. I think Edmonton wins the West. I think Edmonton takes the West as far as total points by the time it's all said and done. I think Edmonton takes the West, and obviously Boston has got the East locked up. So there's my shit. Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna have to go back through this recording to see how fucking right and wrong we were. But hit me, Mason. What do we got? What do we got out in the East?
All right, so I think easily Carolina's probably gonna. I think they're taking it. They've got a game in hand on New Jersey. I don't see them giving up the Metro at all.
Okay, so you have Carolina winning the Metro.
Yeah, okay. I think so.
Okay.
I think their defense, and I think they're going to go far in the playoffs because I think their defense is going to be strong enough to give them that extra boost they need. And then obviously Boston is just disgusting, and it's basically all the pressure's on them to just not fuck up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I see there's no one's even coming close to them. That's like the stuff.
Yeah, they've got Boston's got that locked up. So give me your 8. Give me your 8 playoff teams for the East. Who's getting in?
I do think Pittsburgh. I think they leapfrog over Florida. I think they've got an extra game, and I think even though I'm a Caps fan and I don't care for Pittsburgh all that much, I like when you have Crosby and Malkin healthy, you can never count those dudes out. They'll figure it out somehow. I mean, Crosby's putting 80-mile-an-hour backhand shots.
Yeah, he's the only reason.
He's almost 40 years old, and he's putting 77-mile-an-hour backhanders up there. How do you do that?
Yeah, it's harder than my fucking slap shot. That's why I play in the Israeli Elite Hockey League, baby. Fucking muffins all day. Muffins and just pumping kids from the OHL. That's what I do over.
The only requirement was being circumcised.
Okay, so do you have it? You have it as it stands, except for you've got Pittsburgh in that last spot. So you've got Boston, Toronto, Tampa, Carolina, Jersey, Rangers. You have the Islanders in.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, and you've got Pittsburgh now.
Even though I think they're probably the biggest frauds of the East, I think they scoot in.
Okay. Wow, you heard it here first. Mason fucking hates Long Island, so get your pitchforks out. Who is your wild card? Who are you gonna throw in there?
That could make an interesting push.
That could potentially overtake either Florida or Pittsburgh for that last spot.
Honestly, I don't think any of them.
You don't think? Okay, so no wild card.
I don't even think Buffalo.
Mason's throwing a wild card, Charlie Kelly, and going no wild card because I cut the brakes. Okay.
I think the one thing that we all kind of hope for is that after the first round of the playoffs, things work out to where we can get a Boston, New York playoff round if they both make it through.
Is it? I don't know how the seeding works. Could it? I know, but could it? Could there be an Eastern Conference final between Boston and the Rangers?
It could work out that way.
Fuck, that would be.
The Rangers are sitting at 3 in the Metro.
That would be so good for hockey. It's not even funny. I'm fucking rock hard thinking about that right now.
Yeah, so as long as Carolina wins, Boston wins, and Tampa Bay loses, you could potentially have a Boston versus New York in the second round.
What about the conference finals?
Yep.
I mean, fuck, dude. Think about that.
I think it's with the way those two teams are stacked with obviously, like the Rangers getting Kane makes them a lot more interesting.
Think
Even they were already interesting, but
think
that
about
just
the
makes them.
intensity of a Game 7 Eastern Conference Final in TD Garden against with the Bruins and the fucking Rangers. Oh my god, that's a
Yeah,
that's a dream.
it would be nuts.
That's a dream. Okay, so we've got your who do you have, and then you said obviously Boston, and then you have Carolina winning the Metro. So give me your eight. Give me your eight Western. Give me your eight West teams. Who we got?
All right. I think Colorado wins the Central.
Okay, so we both have Colorado winning the Central.
Yeah, I think they're healthy. They're back to what they should be for the most part. I don't think they're quite as sharp as they were last year, even with everyone healthy, but I do think as far as the West goes, the only team would be more afraid of than the Avs right now would probably be probably Edmonton or LA.
Kill you.
No, LA is actually one of the scarier teams.
I think you saw my text the other day. I think LA is going to prove to be frauds once it comes down to actual playoff time. I don't, dude. I just don't see it. I see Mikey Anderson making some fucked up defensive plays in the playoffs.
But yeah, I just think they're not flashy, and I think they're going to just grind out playoff games, which is kind of what it takes against the teams, especially if teams with superstars like Colorado and Edmonton, like you just got to grind them down and beat the shit out of them. That's all you have to do.
Yeah. Okay, so who's winning the Pacific for you? You got to pick one.
Edmonton.
You're going to Edmonton.
I think Edmonton.
So we both have the same. Okay, so we both have Colorado and Edmonton winning those divisions. Okay, so the wild card right now sits at Seattle and Winnipeg. Do you have it staying the same?
Seattle gets in, yes. I think 100%. Winnipeg. It's up to Winnipeg whether they shit the bed or not, because Calgary is on a 3-game win streak. I think if Calgary stays hot, they can sneak in. But I think Winnipeg, I don't know what their schedule looks like for the next few, but I feel like.
You think Winnipeg's staying in? Are they staying
probably interchanged.
Their next game is versus New Jersey today, 6 p.m.
So that's probably not a 2-point game for Winnipeg. I would say.
Not in New Jersey.
No.
So let's see here. So they've got New Jersey, Calgary, Nashville, San Jose, Minnesota, and Colorado left.
No. Okay, then Calgary probably makes it in.
Because you got to think they're most likely not getting a point in New Jersey.
The only game here's the thing. Sure, 2 points is San Jose probably.
Well, actually, no, they're at home.
Still hungry, so they're gonna play them hard.
So they're at home versus New Jersey. So here's the thing: they could get a point versus New Jersey, but Calgary is gonna fucking come out, guns fucking blazing, tombstone, just Doc Holliday just shooting up the motherfucker. They're coming in that game. So then they got Nashville. Nashville's on the same shit right now. They're fucking hot, and they don't look like they're slowing down, and they look like they're fighting kind of for some careers over there, and they kind of look like they're playing for Heinz's position. Because that was still a weird hire when they did it, and people thought he was going to be gone the next season, and he somehow stuck around. Then they got San Jose, so you got to assume you don't get at least a point out of that. You're then fucked. And your last 2 games are Minnesota, Colorado. That's fucked. I mean, you're fighting for a playoff spot, and your last 2 games you're playing 2 of the top teams in the division.
Teams in the conference.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't have them getting in. Okay, so who's your? Do you have them? Do you have them in or not? After hearing their
no.
Okay, you don't have them in. Okay, so who do you have jumping them?
Calgary
jumping them. Who's your wild card? Yeah. Is it just Calgary, or you think Nashville could make a run here?
Nashville could make a run, but I haven't seen enough of them this season to be convinced that they're good enough.
Yeah. Okay. So there it is. There's our picks. Agree, disagree. I mean, look, I don't think we threw out too many like underdogs here.
No, I feel like most things are status quo. for
No.
both of them.
Yeah, but I'll take a little credit. I said my wild card's Buffalo. I said they could sneak in. Said they could sneak in. I have New Jersey beating Carolina, and they're 1 point back with one game, and Carolina has a game at hand. So that that's maybe a little unlikely, but my heart wanted to say Dallas wins the Central. I mean, I'd love to see that banner up there in American Airlines Center, but I just don't see it. Yeah. All right. Okay. So we got our 8. We have our 8. We have our wild cards. We'll see how that plays out with the rest of the season. But who do you got winning the cup? If you had to pick somebody right now, gun to your head.
Probably Boston.
Yeah.
They're just so loaded. I think they can do it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say that I would say the same thing. And here's why. I almost want, as soon as the Stars get eliminated, I will want Boston to win. I'm a Monty fan. I'm a fan of second chances. I'm a fan of comebacks. I'm a fan of people who are deep down, obviously good human beings who had faults, but who didn't really do anything that's beyond redemption, who come back the way he's come back. I mean, he was the right hire for the Stars at that time. It was a time when Ben and Sagan needed a resurgence, getting a little older, not feeling as young, but at the same time, there was a lot of young guys coming in. So they needed a voice that was that balance of, I know we're getting older, but there's still some youth in you. And then that whole dealing with the flip side of all the youth part of it. All the rumors when he was let go, I mean, that wasn't fair to him. And it ended up being something that a lot of people in this world deal with on a daily basis. And he handled it very well. He handled it very professionally. And I'm super happy for him. I'm super glad he's back in a position. And you can clearly tell, based on the way they're playing this season, they fucking love him over there. I mean, you don't have that many wins and that many points if you don't like your coach. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work that way. Personalities don't work that way, especially at the highest level. Because just like any other highest level, the players are what makes the money, and if that's not meshing, usually the coach is the first to go, and then we look at trades, right? But everything's clicking over there. If the Stars lose, I'd like to see Monty get a Stanley Cup. I like that story, that side of it. Now, if we play them in the final, which is possible because we're a fucking wagon, I hope we beat the shit out of them and we sweep them. But that's all hearsay. We'll see how it goes. So we've got our 8. We've got our playoff teams. We're locked and loaded. The Flowscape podcast is here. I'm excited. I know Mason's excited, even though Peterson's, very monotone today. No, I'm just kidding.
That's every day.
That's how Mason is. That's how Mason is. That's just Chris Mason for you.
That's me.
Yeah, that's you. But we'll keep it short today. Our first episode. We wanted to just go over some playoff teams, give you a little background about us. Again, like, subscribe everywhere you see. The full video will be up on YouTube. The podcast will be available very soon, if not already, when you hear this, wherever you get your podcasts. Instagram, Flowskate Podcast. Give us the follow. Any help we can get, any support we can get, like I said, it helps make our dreams come a reality. This is something that we want to bring to you and keep bringing to you. So we would appreciate any support that we can get. Again, you fucking Disney World creatures, leave Mason alone. Leave Mason alone. Okay? He doesn't want to deal with your shit. He just wants to, again, just rock out with his cock out in Toy Story World. So let the man
Except
do that this
not.
weekend. Like, Mason said it's frowned upon to pull your cock out at Disney World. So yeah, that's
It definitely is.
yeah, it definitely is. Okay,
A
all
lot
right.
of
Well,
paperwork to fill out for that.
we'll end it there. You heard it first here on the Flowscape podcast. Don't pull cocks out at Disney World. We'll see you next time.
Definitely don't. I'll see you later.